Part 1, The Nightmare begins in 2012. The small American town of Green Ridge, nestled in the mountains of Colorado, was a quiet and peaceful place. It was a typical provincial town with a population of about 30,000, where everyone knew each other, and crime was rare. But one day, everything changed. Late one evening, the local police station received a distressing call. A brutal murder had taken place in one of the country estates. When officers arrived at the scene, they were met with a horrifying sight. The house was turned upside down, papers scattered everywhere, broken furniture, and shattered electronics. The homeowner, John Marshall, a 54-year-old businessman, was found dead in the living room. At first, the police thought it was a robbery gone wrong. However, they soon realized that something was off. Money and valuables remained untouched, but some important documents were missing. This suggested that the murder wasn't random, it had a deeper purpose. The local police launched an investigation, but they quickly hit a dead end. The only clue they found was a boot print left on the muddy wooden porch. The security cameras in the house had been disabled hours before the murder. The police had little evidence, but they knew one thing: the killer was meticulous and highly skilled. Part 2, a new lead and the first encounter. A few weeks later, another attack occurred. In another part of town, a young lawyer named Eric Glover was found murdered. He worked at the same law firm as the first victim. The police now had no doubt this was not a coincidence but a carefully planned series of murders. The FBI was called in. Special Agent Catherine Hall, a seasoned investigator with 15 years of experience, took over the case. She immediately recognized that the killer was intelligent, cautious, and an expert at covering his tracks. But he made one mistake. At the second crime scene, the police found a torn piece of fabric stuck to a doorknob. Forensic analysis revealed that the fabric came from a rare model of a jacket sold in only a few stores nationwide. This clue led the agents to a motel on the outskirts of Green Ridge, where they hoped to catch the suspect. When the police surrounded the building and stormed the room, the suspect was already gone. Only a broken back door and the smell of freshly extinguished cigarette smoke remained. Part 3, a four-legged detective joins the chase. After several failed attempts to capture the fugitive, Agent Hall decided to seek help from the K9 unit. They brought in their best tracker, a German shepherd named Ranger. Ranger was a legend among police dogs. Over his career, he had helped capture dozens of criminals, find missing persons, and rescue hostages. His sense of smell was so precise that he could track scents that were weeks old. Ranger was accompanied by his handler, Sergeant Thomas Tommy Beckett. Tommy was a veteran of special operations who had served in Afghanistan and had extensive experience working with K9 units. He trusted Ranger more than anyone. Ranger picked up the scent at the motel and led the police into the woods. It was a tough journey. The suspect was well prepared. He tried to throw the dogs off by crossing streams, climbing trees, and even leaving false trails, but Ranger was relentless. Finally, after several hours of pursuit, the dog led the agents to a small, abandoned cabin in the mountains. Inside, they found evidence that someone had recently stayed there: leftover food, cigarette butts, and a map with marked locations. The suspect was clearly looking for something or heading somewhere. Part 4, the long hunt. After discovering the hideout, the police learned that the suspect was a former military mercenary named Victor Kane. He had served in conflicts overseas and was highly skilled in survival and evasion tactics. Now, the real hunt began. Kane knew he was being pursued and did everything to avoid capture. He changed his appearance, traveled in stolen vehicles, and used fake identities. Ranger and his team chased him across the country. They moved through forests, swamps, and across multiple state lines. Victor Kane always stayed one step ahead, but each time, Ranger managed to pick up his trail. Part 5, the final showdown. After 3 months of relentless pursuit, the police finally received a tip: Kane was hiding at an abandoned oil refinery in Texas. A SWAT team surrounded the area. As soon as they moved in, gunfire erupted. Kane wasn't planning to surrender. He took cover in one of the warehouses, and the only one who could track him down was Ranger. The dog charged into the building, skillfully dodging bullets. He sniffed out Kane's hiding spot behind a stack of metal barrels and barked loudly, signaling his exact location. At that moment, the police rushed in. Kane tried to escape, but Ranger lunged at him and knocked him to the ground. Within seconds, the officers subdued and arrested him. Part 6, Aftermath. Victor Kane was sentenced to life in prison. The investigation revealed that he had been killing people to obtain documents that exposed his past crimes. Ranger became a national hero. He was awarded a medal for bravery, and a statue was erected in his honor in Green Ridge. A year after Kane's arrest, Ranger retired and moved in with Tommy Beckett. The story of how a German shepherd and his loyal handler helped capture one of the country's most dangerous fugitives became a legend in American law enforcement.